Hello and welcome to the Trade Setup. In this video we are looking at Coinbase. It is time for another update, and on the long time frame we are tracking two main scenarios. Now we have firstly the yellow interpretation, in which we have a complete 5-wave move to the upside in a diagonal structure, and that would be our wave 1, and now we would be looking for a larger correction in a 3-wave structure within a wave 2, where we expect to reach the area and find support in the area between the $161.5 all the way down to the $55 level, the 78.6% retracement. And I will also mention, as long as we stay above the 78.6% retracement, we can still look, at least over the long time frame, for a continuation of this uptrend that has so far developed. Now we also have the white interpretation, in which instead we are looking for continuation within the initial wave 1 to the upside, where we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a third wave up that we would still be tracking in this moment, and then we would be looking instead for a wave 4 correction as opposed to a much larger and deeper wave 2 correction. Now technically I would like to see still another high to have this as a clear 5-wave pattern within this third wave, fifth wave of the third wave to the upside. Technically, I could find a way to count a 5-wave move even within what has developed so far internally in this movement, but yeah, it's not necessarily the highest quality 5-wave move even in a diagonal structure. Yeah, if we fail to create this additional fifth wave to the upside, we would really have no choice but to look for something like that, since yeah, we would otherwise be left only with the yellow interpretation, and that would be a little bit blindsided to follow that solely. But for now, yeah, I would still like to continue and attempt to look for continuation to the upside within another fifth wave to complete this wave 3. And if we manage to do that, I would really have to pretty much disconsider this interpretation in the yellow scenario, at least in the idea that we form a 5-wave move to the upside, because in the yellow interpretation we would be tracking a diagonal structure, where this would really have to be an ABC structure for a valid interpretation of the yellow structure. Now internally in this area, I could allow for this wave 4 to go as low as the 61.8% retracement, since we are tracking an ending diagonal within this fifth wave, and that goes all the way down to the $266 level. But I have to say, if we actually form another low, another wave 4 low in this area, I would be quite inclined to actually reconsider the possibility of yeah, this count really working, due to the actual size of this wave 4 compared to this wave 2. And in that case, yeah, I might be looking for a different interpretation still, another one that would allow us to still look for higher possibly, but not necessarily as reliable as this one would be. And yeah, I would be quite wary of that. Now let's say if we manage to push directly lower in this area and form a quick other bottom, that would be fine. It wouldn't have extended already so much, but that would need to happen quite swiftly, because it is already quite extended and quite deep. Now internally we have, in the yellow scenario, this possible 5-wave move to the downside that has developed, and we have a retracement area for resistance between the $342 all the way up to the $406 level at the 78.6% retracement. And as long as we stay below this level, there is an increased risk that we form this into at least a larger ABC pattern, if not something more bearish, where it could even be a 1, 2, 3 that would be developing. And yeah, a third wave could take us to quite deep levels, where the ideal extension would be the 138.2% extension. And assuming that we even possibly topped here in an 1-2 setup, and I could even label it, but currently I will label it as an AB setup or an ABC. And yeah, assuming we have a top here, I would be looking at a target for the wave C at the $230 level, at the what is it, the 100% extension. And then for a third wave, as I was mentioning, the extension is here the 138.2% extension at the $197 level instead. Now, we haven't completely invalidated the possibility for at least a reset within this wave B. And yeah, unfortunately, in the previous video, I provided you this support zone area for a possible wave 4 where we could be forming a leading diagonal within the A wave to the upside of the fifth wave. And we were somewhere around this very top where I mentioned that we have a full count and there is a high risk of heading into a wave 4, and I provided you this support zone, but it ended up not holding. And now, yeah, this idea of a 5-wave move to the upside in this A wave is pretty much invalidated. I can completely remove it. And what else we could really be looking for is maybe the idea of this being an ABC setup or ABC movement developing, since we did hold at least the 78.6% retracement. Now, if the previous setup, this 3-4 setup, was a low probability, this is even worse. The movement, the break below the 61.8% retracement there was detrimental to the upside opportunity, at least the setups opportunity for this chart, or at least for this structure that would be developing here initially. And it is under quite high risk that even if we push higher here, it would really be maybe a WXY structure, or in a different manner, it would be like this, a WXY. And yeah, we would really have a higher risk of really just resetting here a wave B top. Now, we can still track this as a possible option, especially as long as we hold this previous low in a wave B at, what is it, around the $304 level. But if we break again below the 78.6% retracement, there is a very high chance that we have here a top, and yeah, that we will be heading possibly in a very direct fashion much lower. Now, if I were to do here an internal count within this wave C, I could consider a series of 1-2 setups that has developed in this area, and I would be looking at this as the third wave that would actually still be ongoing at the moment, and I will even add a label here for this idea. And in this case, we can look if we reach the ideal extension for such a wave 3, and that would be the 138.2% extension, which was reached successfully. And now within this wave 4, within an impulse, we would expect to hold below the 50% retracement for such a correction, which in this case, it would be at the $315 level. Now, if we manage to break above that, it would be a first good sign that, okay, this would not really be developing as an impulse to the downside where, yeah, it could turn into a very strong third wave extremely quickly. So we could have a very sharp decline, something like this. And in that case, we would rather be looking for a diagonal structure, still bearish, still a higher risk of being bearish, where this could be a 1, this could be a 2, this could be a third wave down, but it would allow for a larger correction. And for that to be invalidated, I moved that again accidentally. But for that to be invalidated, I would have to see a break above the 61.8% retracement of this supposed wave 3. That would be at around the $323 level. And if we manage to actually break that, it would have a pretty good implication for this chart. It could still turn into different types of movements to the downside, but those of the highest risk would be, yeah, reduced to a slight lower degree. It's nothing significant. We are in a very bearish structure at the moment, unfortunately. But for now, I will choose to focus on the immediate risk here of a continuation in the fifth wave within this 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the fifth. And yeah, after that, we will, depending on how it develops, look for the follow-up on what is next. And yeah, again, there is still possible chance for continuation to the upside, but I want to mention, to reiterate, that it is of a high risk, and it is mostly as long as we hold above the 78.6% retracement here at the $304 level. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.